Well, welcome everyone. Wasn't that piece of music absolutely beautiful? It just transports you into the most gentle, open space within. It's lovely to see so many faces, some we haven't seen for quite a while, and some new people as well. You're all very welcome. Thank you. So shall we open in prayer? We turn from the outer world to the inner world, and in the silence and the stillness, we seek deep within our souls the presence of our Creator, the source of life, Father, Mother God. We seek the glory of the Christ within, opening our hearts to the incoming of this heavenly light. In the quietness of our worship, may our inner vision open to the reality and the glory of the world of spirit, which is all about us, and to the companionship of loved ones in spirit. As we make this contact, the light is stimulated in ourselves and goes from us to bless all the world. And this beautiful little reading from Whitey for today is called The Sage and the Neophyte. To seek the tranquil way, you must first cleanse the heart of all conflict, all fear. You must know love. A story is told of the neophyte who went into the wilderness to find his master. His master received him kindly, but like all neophytes, he had to go and prove himself ready to advance on the path of spiritual enlightenment, of illumination, and of power. Therefore he was set 3 tasks, and in each he failed. He was over-eager, and his mind was overactive. He wanted power and wanted to get on quickly on the spiritual path, but he had missed one essential and simple truth. He had lost, or at least he had not found, complete love towards God and all mankind, all humankind. And he knew that this was necessary, but had not yet sufficient yearning towards it. He knew many things with his mind, but his heart was only very slightly awake. At last, his master took him to the edge of the lake, for the master lived on a mountainside overlooking a calm and beautiful lake, and firmly, but gently, led his pupil into its waters, and then immersed and held him under the surface for a considerable space of time. When at last the master let him rise, which the pupil did with great gasping and splutterings, rising, saying, "That was a terrible experience," the master replied, "My son, when you long for God, as you longed for air when you were under the water, then you will find Him and heaven. You will find all love, all knowledge, all power through finding God." Wouldn't it be lovely to find God without the struggle, without the tests, but just knowing within our heart of love, we are God. We are love. So shall we join together in our world healing prayer? We remember the great need of our world, and we seek to still our mind, so that we come into a place of peace and stillness, drawing closer to God in prayer. Let us open our hearts to the power, love, and wisdom of God. By the Christ light and love in our hearts, we call to the great angels of the Christ star circle. Being still, we feel their presence and their power. And now, with the will of our minds, with all the love of our deepest hearts, we send forth the light. We send it forth as a great star of light, a blazing star, a star of the Christ light, lifting all hearts into the eternal heart of God. By all the power of the Christ within our hearts, we send forth the light to the world. We hold our beautiful planet in the healing light of the Christ star. We hold within this healing ray the soil, the waters of the earth, and the air. And all nature, especially the animal kingdom. We hold in the heart of the Christ star the soul of Australia, the soul of the people of Australia. May the light of the Christ star shine through the hearts and minds of the people of Australia to bring healing to mankind and reverence for all life. Let us hold in this healing ray, in this great healing star, anyone known to us personally who is in need of help or healing. Silently, we name them now and see them radiant in the healing light. Amen. And let us now join together in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. That was the most beautiful piece of music, wasn't it? Ave Maria. And was that Josh Groban? Yeah. No? Josh Groban. They've got very similar voices, haven't they? Andrea Bocelli and Josh Groban. Before I start on my talk, I'd just like to pay tribute to our team here. Lynn chooses the music for our Sunday services, and I think you'll all agree that she does a fantastic job of the music. We have Tracy, who is live streaming this on Facebook. So hello everyone on Facebook. Steve is at the controls at the back there, and he adjusts the volume and presses buttons everywhere. And Peter is on duty there for videoing the service, and then the service goes up onto our website, not immediately because Steve edits it, and then it goes up around Thursday, Friday of the same week. So thank you, team. And Christine always puts out the lunch things and the cups and what do you call that thing? Cutlery and the urns. Thank you. Thank you, Christine. So today, as you all know, is the 1st of November. And in many churches around the world, they are celebrating All Saints' Day today and tomorrow All Souls. And then on the 11th of November, of course, we have Remembrance Day. So I started thinking, what is the purpose of celebrating All Saints and All Souls Day? And I thought it would be really good if we looked at the qualities of the saints. Now, last month, you remember that I spoke on St. Francis of Assisi. And do you remember how he was the son of a very rich merchant? And he came to a point in his life where he decided to give everything away and devote his whole life to God and to God's creatures. He really did put his trust in God to provide for all his needs and to guide him on his life journey. Now, in the past, most saints have given away all their possessions to live in poverty, believing that they would get closer to God. And they were. Without the hindrance of possessions or the need for them, they were able to devote their whole life to God and to helping others. Today, people worry too much about possessions, and they spend very little or no time in contemplation of God. But really, it's not about possessions per se. It's about trusting God's plan for us. It's about surrendering ourselves to God's care and keeping, and to let go of that tight rein that we all hold onto our life. Saint Therese of Avila was a Spanish Carmelite nun who lived in the 1500s. She was a prolific writer on spiritual matters, and she established numerous convents throughout Spain. And her gift to humanity was to restore a contemplative and austere life to the order. So, St. Teresa's life is showing us how to make the connection with God through contemplation. And closer to home, we have Mary MacKillop, who gave her life to God and the need of others. She was well known for her miraculous healings on people. Now, White Eagle said, "A perfect parable is that of the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan did not leave his brother at the roadside, saying to himself, 'God will take care of him. He has earned his suffering.' No, indeed. The Good Samaritan poured oil on the wounds and took the sufferer to the inn. The inn stands for the sanctuary, a place where a soul can receive refreshment and healing. Therefore, the Good Samaritan does not prevent the sufferer from learning the lessons, but does all in his power to show him where he can find sanctuary and receive the ministration of the Lord. And this applied to Mary MacKillop. And through her, we can learn compassion, understanding, and to help others, just like the Good Samaritan in the biblical story. The next saint I'd like to talk about is St. Paul. St. Paul was and still is concerned with the spiritual evolution of humanity and the development of man's higher senses. Do you remember the charge he was given by the angels? It was to help humanity become aware of the truth of life after death and the possibility of communication and communion with the life beyond. St. Paul said, "Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, think on these things." In other words, he was saying, think of all that is good. White Eagle is continually telling us to focus on the light. So St. Paul is teaching us not to focus on our physical possessions or on the extreme negativity in the world, particularly at this moment in time. Think of light. Think of good. If we can do this, we're developing our spiritual aspects of our being. So St. Paul's gift to us is encouraging us to focus on the light, on the good. And the last saint I'd like to talk about today is St. John. John the Beloved. And White Eagle portrays him in this beautiful picture when he said, in the New Testament, you have a beautiful and wonderful revelation given through a great initiate, which means one who has full cosmic consciousness, whose mission was to convey to the people a method by which they could enter in full consciousness into this world of spirit. The spirit of John is directly related to mankind in the new age of Aquarius. When you have learned to interpret John's words, he explains the whole structure of man's spiritual being, together with the art of meditation. He takes you in symbolic language to the New Jerusalem, which is a city neither here on earth or the beyond, but rather a state of consciousness to which man must eventually attain while still living on earth. I can truly recommend White Eagle's book, The Living Word of St. John. It's an incredible book and explains the Gospel of St. John beautifully. So, some of the qualities that we've touched on so far, St. Francis is trust in God. St. Therese, that to have a connection with God, we need to have a life of contemplation. Mary MacKillop is encouraging us to care for others. St. Paul is teaching us to focus on the light, on the good in the world. And St. John, how to reach cosmic consciousness through love. Another quality that stands out in all the saints is one of humbleness. We can follow mental pursuits. We can acquire knowledge. We can go through numerous ceremonies, hoping to find God. But it's one thing to read esoteric truths, and it's another to become part of them, to actually experience them. But humility comes from the heart. It comes through love. It comes through becoming one with God. It comes through the silence of the heart. And this aspiration must become a driving force in our lives until we feel we can truly renounce everything that we think we possess. Now, I'm not talking about physical things. I'm talking about mental and spiritual arrogance. We have to renounce all that so that we can become at one with God. Jesus said, "Verily, I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter the kingdom of heaven." Humbleness is not meekness, a pretense of humility. It is that childlike trust in our Father, Mother God. When our focus is on God, when our focus is on good, when we selflessly do things, never thinking of our own personal development or our own grandeur, then we truly become humble. And to achieve this, we need constantly to be working from within, to lay aside the demands of the intellect and open our heart as simply as a child does. So, what is a saint? A saint is a person who has achieved God realization, who knows God not mentally, but from the heart. Someone who has a true awareness of their oneness with God. We're all on our journey back to God consciousness, to know God intimately, to know all that God is, to know we are one with the light. And this is what the saints exemplified in their lives. Their ecstatic union with God. So how do we develop our cosmic consciousness? By following the examples of the saints. And I'll reiterate, to trust in God, to have a deep connection with God through our meditations, to have compassion for others, to focus on the good, on the light, to focus on truth, and above all, to focus on love. I'd like to finish with White Eagle's words. My brethren, we would hold communion with all saints, incarnate or discarnate. It doesn't make a difference. We are living souls, all of us. And we all have access to heavenly realms. Within these heavenly realms, through our aspirations towards the Great White Spirit, we come into harmony with the saints. We are able to absorb from them the pure light which fills their own being. What is the secret of such saintship? Amazingly simple, but very difficult to attain. It lies, first of all, in discrimination between false and true. Discrimination in life between what is ennobling and what is degrading. Discrimination between worth and worthlessness. Discrimination between true spiritual riches and material gains. Study the lives of saints, and you will admit that the saints showed little interest in that which worldly men and women consider of the greatest value. The saint gets his or her vision polarized, attuned to the wonderful and pure light of God. He sees life's true values. He sees that the only way to true achievement on this earth is to abandon all thoughts of worldliness and to seek in all his ways, in all his thoughts, and in every act, the one simple way of service. He leaves no stone unturned. He neglects no opportunity. However tired and weary he may physically be, as soon as the call comes, he aspires to give service. And he went on to say, "Take courage. Do not care for one instant of what the world thinks. Turn within and satisfy the God within your breast, the Christ who resides in your heart. Satisfy him that in your daily life you are giving forth daily, yes, minute by minute, you are giving love, good thought, God thought, kindliness and goodness to the world. The man and woman who lives continually with this thought and aspiration will find many ways to help people. And so we honour all the saints of the past. And I hope by just exploring those few, it's only a few saints, and we have all the saints and masters from the Eastern cultures. There are so many more, but it does give us encouragement, doesn't it, to keep on keeping on, thinking good thoughts, helping people, and have compassion in our hearts. So now, will you join me in meditation? And shall we now put aside all the thoughts of this morning? Just focus on our breathing. And just allowing the breath to slow down. taking nice, deep breaths. And when we calm our outer senses through our breathing, we are aware of a blazing star, a star of light. And the rays of that star enfold us in this beautiful, glowing, golden light. And we breathe in this light. We breathe it in to every cell in our body. And as we breathe out, we breathe out all tension, all in harmony. Breathing in the light and breathing out, all in harmony. Breathing in the light, and as we do, we feel our consciousness rising right into the very heart of the star. Right into the light. And our vision opens. And we are in the temple of light, in the heavenly world. And as we gaze around the temple, we are so aware of the angels of light, and we are aware of the saints of all time. These beautiful beings of light. In particular, we can see Jesus, St. John, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad. And we feel the blessing coming from these radiant beings. And we absorb into our very heart their blessings. And our attention is drawn to St. Francis. And we feel his deep trust in God, and it fills our heart. And perhaps you are drawn to Saint Therese. And you absorb her essence of contemplativeness. Are you drawn to Mary MacKillop? And her ability to care for others, and being able to heal the soul. St. Paul steps forward and radiates his ability to focus on the light, on the good. Then John steps forward, our beloved St. John. And we experience his deep love for all creation. saturated in the essence of John, this divine love. We experience an utter humbleness in our hearts. So that in truth we can live as light beings. So open your heart. Open your mind and be filled with their blessings, their divine essence. Being filled with light and love, it opens our vision, and we see our loved ones in spirit as they draw very close. And they add their blessing to you. You are so loved. Just allow that love to flood into you. And having made your connection with the saints of all time, having made your connection with the light and love of God, ever so gently bring that light back into your physical consciousness, filling your mind, your emotions, filling your whole being with this light and this love. It is there. You are one with God. Just bring it into your everyday consciousness. And coming all the way back into your physical body, sitting on the chair in the temple. Coming all the way back, all the way back. And just wriggle your fingers for me. And now we just need to place the vibration of the equal-sided cross of light, encircled by light, around our whole being. So that no outside influence that isn't of the light can affect us.
And shall we close with Light Eagle's words? May thy peace and serenity bless us, and the light of thy countenance shine upon our pathway, henceforth and forever. And shall we join together saying the Vesper? Father, we bow in humble adoration. Through lives of service, we would worship thee. Shine in our hearts the light of all creation, which word and art through all eternity. Amen.